This is a second stimulus check update. The goalposts have moved again. The new government funding and stimulus package deadline has been moved to December 20th, just 2 days away, and it was voted on just hours before the midnight deadline last night. Bernie Sanders had a moment where he was about to single-handedly shut down the entire government, but he pulled back last second. I'll play the clip of what he said, and Democrats are blaming Senator Pat Toomey for not having a deal done yesterday because of some last-minute legislation that he proposed. And then the new Moderna vaccine has just been approved for COVID vaccines, and I'll give you more details on that. I hope you're having a great day so far. If you could do me a quick favor and hit the like button down below so YouTube will share this video with more people. So let's get right into it. So Congress approved the stopgap measure just hours before the midnight deadline for government funding as well as the stimulus package deadline. So yesterday around 6 p.m. the House of Representatives voted on this, and it was a 320 to 60 vote margin. All the no's came from Republican lawmakers. So basically this was to make sure that we had a 2-day extension so that the government wouldn't shut down. Then this vote went to the Senate, and the Senate had to have 100 unanimous votes. That means with just one senator voting against it would have shut down the government. Bernie Sanders had that moment. I'll play that clip in a moment, but first, quick recap before that. Yesterday, there was two $1,200 stimulus check pushes by Bernie Sanders and Josh Hawley yesterday before the extension of the deadline. And then Senator Chuck Schumer jumped in too because he wanted to have a $1,200 stimulus check, but his motives are a little bit questionable because they're attached to Pat Toomey's legislation. I'll give you more details on that, but first, here is a quick recap of what Mitch McConnell, Bernie Sanders, Josh Hawley said yesterday on the Senate floor.
We make sure that every working person in this country gets a $1,200 direct payment, and we're not going to go home until that happens. Madam President, thank you very much.
We should begin with the working people of this country. And that's why the legislation that Senator Sanders and I are introducing, which I believe every senator voted for in March. It's simple legislation, $1,200 for each individual, $2,400 for a couple, and $500 for every dependent in the family.
None of the remaining hurdles cannot be overcome. Everyone is committed to achieving a result, and we will not leave until we get the job done. I yield the floor.
At the particular urging of President Trump and Secretary Mnuchin, who have continued to be the champions of cash relief for American families, we're discussing more direct impact payments for individuals, plus the bonus for families with children. In short, we're near the point in this process where we decide if we're going to stay on the fast track or drift back toward business as usual. After all these months, struggling Americans don't just need action. They need action fast.
Both voting requests for the $1,200 stimulus check by Josh Hawley and Bernie Sanders were denied yesterday. Then after that, we were getting to where the deal had to be made or we were going to have a government shutdown. So it got voted in the House, as I mentioned earlier. Then when it came to the Senate, it seemed that all the senators were on board for this, but all it would take is just either Josh Hawley or Bernie Sanders to say no, and then we would have a government shutdown until the government funding was passed. Now, the good news here is that the $1.4 trillion government funding is in place. They have that. The only thing that they're negotiating are parts of the stimulus package. They have the stimulus check figured out. They have the unemployment figured out. In regards to stimulus check, it's either going to be 600, 700. They haven't come out with a definite number yet. But I'm going to play this clip right here where Bernie Sanders was just about to shut down the government. You'll hear Mitch McConnell, kind of hard to understand him. I guess it was late at night. Either he's too tired or what, but he's talking, and then you'll hear in the background any objections, and you'll hear Bernie Sanders yell out, and then he'll start the talk. Here's that clip right now.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent the Senate proceed to legislative session and be in a period of morning business. Senators permitted to speak around for up to 10 minutes each.
Without objection.
I ask unanimous consent the Senate proceed to the immediate consideration of the House joint resolution.
Right to object. Okay.
The clerk will report the title of the bill for the information of the Senate. Is there objection to proceeding to the measure?
Reserving the right to object.
The senator from Vermont.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, last week, I indicated that it would be unacceptable for the Senate to recess for the Christmas holidays without providing substantial direct payments to the working families of our country and to their children. Majority Leader McConnell and I do not agree on much, but as I understand it, we are in agreement on at least one point, and that is that the Senate cannot go home until a COVID emergency relief bill is passed. The fact that the Majority Leader intends to keep the Senate in session this weekend to continue work on the COVID relief package is the correct decision. But let me at this time be as clear as I can be. Senator Josh Hawley, a Republican from Missouri, and I have been working together to make certain that the working families of this country have a direct payment of $1,200 for adults and $2,400 for couples and $500 for each of their children. And let me also be absolutely clear that I will object to any attempt by the Senate to pass an omnibus appropriations bill and leave town before passing a COVID relief bill with substantial direct payments going to working people. The truth is that the working families of this country today are probably in worse economic condition than at any time since the Great Depression. Millions of people are unable to pay their rent, and they're worried about being evicted. Hunger is literally at an highest level that it has been in several decades, and in the midst of this terrible, terrible pandemic, we got tens of millions of people who cannot afford to go to a doctor. That is unacceptable. So I would say to my colleagues, let us get this package passed. Let's make certain that we have direct payments to working families of this country. And with that, Mr. President, I would withdraw my objection.
Without objection, the Senate will proceed to the measure.
I ask unanimous consent the joint resolution be considered read a third time.
Is there objection? Without objection.
I know of no further debate on the joint resolution.
So that moment where Bernie Sanders said, I withdraw my rejection, that was the moment where if Bernie Sanders persisted his objection, we could have had a government shutdown. Now, if he would have done that, the government would be shut down and all of the headlines would have said, Bernie Sanders shut down the government. It would all be based on him. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. Should Bernie Sanders have persisted and shut down the government until a deal has been made? He mentioned that he's not going to vote for any package unless it has a substantial amount. He didn't say $1,200 stimulus check. He's now saying substantial amount. So Bernie Sanders, Josh Hawley, did do a lot of talking. They did more than any other senator, but unfortunately at the time to take massive action, they both backed out, unfortunately. So you heard Mitch McConnell say the third resolution. What that means is that now that was the third time. So it got, there was a resolution in September to December 11th. That was the deadline. Then December 18th. That was the next deadline. Then the third one is going to be December 20th. Now, some Democrats are saying that the last minute fight over Fed's lending powers is hampering the COVID stimulus deal, saying that Senator Pat Toomey is trying to prevent the incoming Biden administration from reviving the Fed's powers. Supposedly, this was a last-minute thing that was added to the stimulus package that Democrats weren't aware of. Here's more details of what was said about Pat Toomey.
Fight over the Fed's emergency lending powers is throwing a wrench into the final negotiations over a COVID relief package. GOP Senator Pat Toomey had been leading the push to prevent the Fed from being able to restart the programs that were set up under the CARES Act and that are supposed to be shut down by the end of the year. I've now been able to see a copy of the legislative text that he would like included in this deal, and it would appear to prevent the Fed from ever setting up a program like the ones that were in the CARES Act ever again. That includes the Main Street Lending Program and the Municipal Liquidity Facility. And that clearly is going to be a major problem for Democrats. A senior aide tells me that an agreement was in sight to deliver aid to the American people until Senator Toomey and Republicans inserted an 11th hour, purely political, unrelated provision to tie Biden's hands and risk throwing the economy into a tailspin. Now, Toomey says that his proposal would not be a dramatic change of the Fed's 13.3 emergency lending powers, that it would preserve the Fed's independence. But he said that this is the most important provision to him in these talks. So, guys, this is yet another bridge for Republicans and Democrats to cross as they are staring down the midnight deadline to fund the government and reach a deal.
Let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. Was it Pat Toomey's fault for the stimulus package not passing yesterday? I'm really curious about your thoughts about this. Moving on to COVID news. So yesterday we had 251,000 cases in the US, and in terms of the vaccine, it looks like the FDA has authorized the second vaccine, which is the Moderna vaccine, as of yesterday, which is going to go out. And it had very similar negative side effects as the Pfizer vaccine, as well as positive side effects, positive results. So that's going to be distributed. We don't have any details yet of how and when that's going to be distributed, but many Democrats are saying that they want teachers vaccinated as well, and vaccinated first. That is all the stimulus news I have for you today. To cheer up your mood a little bit, here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, I'm going to give you the 5 positive tips to make you start your day and make you be positive and grateful as much as you can. So first, stay happy, stay strong, and have good vibes, and do great to others when they do great to you. And also, you know this one, be nice to others when you be nice to them. Bye.
And if you want to keep the positive vibes going and get in a better mood, I recommend clicking this video over here. It's Simon Sinek's 5 Rules for a Happy Life. If you want to feel happier, especially in this moment now with all of this negative news going on, I recommend clicking this video now from my Wise Vibes channel. Click that now and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.